Today I'm going to welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm going to make this adorable ho ho ho. Now if you look closely you can see that I've embossed this, and the box lid actually fits flush. So when you put it on, it actually fits flush like that. Okay. I have seen other people, they've not made the box how I've made the box. I have seen the ho 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 idea before, but I haven't seen it how I've done the embossing, nor the finished off boxes I've done that actually fits like this. Okay, so without further ado, let's get on. Now, if you follow my channel, thank you for all those that subscribe to me and do follow me. I ended up with a lot of cardstock that was 3 and just about 3 3/4. It was what I'd cut off when I made the Santa going down the chimney. So I am starting off with that card. So because I cut it, and I can't remember honestly what the measurements were, it's what I've got left with, and it's near enough 3/4, but I think actually it's just a 1/16 off. So it's actually 3 and let me get it in 3 and that'll be 8, 9, 10, 11. 3 and 11/16. So it's 3 and 11/16, and I've put it down as 3 3/4 by 8 7/8. 8 7/8. So I'm just going to cut that down to size. Okay, and then we're going to score this at 3/8. Let me just make, yeah, no, we're not going to, sorry, we're going to score it at 7/8. So let me get this right. So we're going to score it at 7/8 on all 4 sides. So just to reiterate the size, it's 3 3/4. Just go and by 8 7/8. But I actually, it's the bit that was left, so it's slightly under. So if you go to if you are A4 users, so that obviously is the imperial size. Our cardstock is really in centimeters. I never use it in centimeters, very rare. I tend to like to use inches. So it's when you got I wish I'd not thrown, or have I not thrown? Just bear with me. I might have kept it. I think I have. Right, so when I cut the piece of A4 sheet, I cut off 4 9/16. So if you've got an A4 sheet of paper, just cut yourself that 4 9/16 off, and use what you have left from the sheet, because it's not exactly 8 1/4 precisely, because it's centimeters, and that's near enough, but it's not quite. So because we're making an insert and a box base, this insert you need really the same size as mine. So if you actually cut off from an A4, and we're just going to take off the 4 corners now, so I've just scored it at 7/8 of an inch on all 4 sides. Okay, so we've done 7/8 of an inch on all 4 sides. Now I'm going to just cut up the score line, but then I'm going to go to take out the corners. I'm going to slightly, and I say slightly, I'm only using that much. I'm going to just wedge it slightly. That makes sure I've taken off the score line because it's crucial for when it goes in my base. So I'm just cutting off the square, but then I'm going back and I'm just mitering it that little bit to just make it just that fraction easier when we're doing it. So in fact I'm going to miter it here, and I'll miter it there and save me cutting twice. Why didn't I do that in the first place? Okay, so this is the last side I've got to miter. Okay, there we go. Right, let's just move that out of the way for the moment, and we're just going to just fold these. Okay, and I'm going to leave that for the moment. We'll come back to that because I want to do the box base so it's drying, and of course your lid. So the base we are going to do 3 and 13/16. So we're going to cut this. So this is, if you put it at 3 3/4 and just move it that one along, that 1/16, that is your 13/16. So I'm going to get that in position, 13/16, and cut that. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it, and we are going to cut it at, let me see, at 8 and 15/16. So if you put it to your 9 and take it that one little mark back, that's your 15/16. So that's, put it on your 9, take it that back that one mark, and that will give you your 16th. Now we are going to score this at 3/8. So I'm going to move it along to 3/8. So we're going to score it at 3/8, and make sure you keep it straight. 3/8, and then we're going to move it along to 7/8. So move it along to 7/8. So 3/8, move it along to 7/8, and we're going to do that on all 4 corners, all 4 sides, sorry. So you're going to put it in at 3/8. Okay, so that's 3/8. And then move it along to 7/8. Okay, and it again, so it's 3/8, 3/8, and then 7/8, 3/8 and 7/8, and then again the final one, so that's 3/8, put that in at 3/8 and 7/8. Okay, there we go. Let's just move that out of my way for a minute. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to cut in, so we're notching this first up to the, only up to the first score line, then I'm cutting straight down. Okay, but then I'm coming back on the next piece and I'm going to wedge. So see, like that. So I'm going to wedge again on this side down to the bottom, then turn it, and then I'm going to wedge up to there. So that's cut as a wedge up through that score line to that last score line, and I turned it to wedge that. So we're going to do the same. So I'm going to this first bit, to the first score line, I'm going to wedge, then cut straight down the score line, then I'm going to go back in, and this is the tab that I am wedging, so you can see I've wedged there, and take that off. Then I'm going to wedge the other side to the score line, the second score line, turn it round and mitre that. So you end up with that. We're going to repeat that at the other side. So I'm going to come in and wedge the top part and then cut down the score line. Then I'm going to come in to wedge. Then I'm going to wedge at the other side down to the second score line. Then I'm going to turn it round and wedge to the first, or mitre, whichever you prefer, to the first score line. Turn it back. I'm going to wedge first, or mitre, then go straight down to the second score line. Then I'm going to do my cut out all of that, do the wedge mitre at the other side, turn it and do the same. Okay, so you should end up with a piece that looks like that. Right, so, ooh, don't get rid of that. Okay, now bone folder. So now we're going to give a very good crease to all these sides. So we want a very good crease and turn it round. Very good crease. So we really need this to lay as flat as possible. So go there and the top part there. We don't need to do anything with the tabs, leave the tabs alone. Again, do that. And then the bottom. Now you're going to have to be patient because where's my glue gone? I've had my glue. I know why. Oh no, what's happened to it? Oh, it's here. Right, okay, so we're going to put glue all the way down the tab. Okay, and then knock that in and line that up. So we're going to line that up like that. So give yourself a nice right angle corner there. Hold it down for a little while, and while I'm holding that, go around the other side and glue that. Pop that in. Hold that. You just have to keep going back, and I've got a lot of glue on, so it's going to take a while to get tacking glue down. So I'll go to the other side, come back again to that probably. Okay, so just bend my tabs out of the way, put some glue on there and there. Then we're gonna bring it down. So we're making sure that we're getting a nice flush corner there. And again on the other side. Now normally when you see me make boxes, you see me use red liner tape and do it with that. And it's a little bit quicker for camera really, but I'm doing this today. Okay, right, now I'm trying to hurry, that's the problem. Okay, so what you want to do now is put, and this will hold it better in place, put some on your top bit that you're going to fold down over those, and now that should help to hold them in place. And I tend to turn mine on the side and get my bone folder in and just keep pressing till it adheres better. Okay, and then let's do the other side. And then I think I'm getting a bit too much glue, and again I'm going to go over that a bit longer. I'm going to hold it for a second or two. Okay. Okay. Hold that. Stick down, and then I'm going to do on this side as well. Okay, I'll hold that down. And again, use your bone folder and to adheres down. All down. Going to have to be patient and wait, aren't I? It's coming all undone. So when you try and rush it, got to allow the glue to actually catch. Okay, I was going to get my my pegs. If you've got the Rustic Christmas, you could use those pegs to hold it down. They would hold it down great. Okay, so you didn't have to go and hold it yourself. Okay, I'll just keep. This looks all right, so I'll just finally go over them. Help it to stay down, and I'm going to help it a little bit by putting an insert in it to actually hold it in place a bit. Okay, so that, let's try. Yeah, and that holding it in place, so that's going to hold it in place anyway. Right, so I'll move those out of the way. I've got a spare insert ready. Right, okay, so let's go to making the lid part now, so and we'll get on with the fun part. Right, so this is what's taken me such a long time to design, and I kept getting it wrong. So let's see, it's the 4.5. Ooh, look at that, there is 4.5 there left. Yeah, is that right? Yeah, 4.5 left. Perfect. Okay, so we now can cut this. So that's 4.5, and what's the other measurement? 4.5 by 9 5/8. So I want 9 5/8. Okay. So again, look at that. Just make sure that is my 4.5. Yeah, 4.5 by 9/8. Right, now I'm going to score this at 3/8 again. So I'm going to score it at 3/8. Well, that's 3/8, and then 1 1/4. So 3/8 and then 1 1/4, and we're going to do that on all 4 sides. So 3/8, and then 1 1/4. It. 3/8. 3/8, and we're getting that wrong then. I was 3/8 and 1 1/4, and then 3/8, and 1 1/4. Let's just move that for the moment. Okay, and we're going to do the same again as what I did. So I'm going to mitre, cut down the score, then I'm going to come in and wedge, then I'm going to wedge at the other side, and then cut off there. So I've cut down the 2 score lines with the wedge and then wedged in, but this time I'm just going to take off that bottom score line there. So we're cutting down the score line to the second score line, so cut through the first, Oh, I should have wedged at the top first. You can do it before or after, it doesn't really matter as long as you get those 2 wedges there. I then, for the tab, I'm going to wedge in, get rid of that, then I'm going to wedge in again and then turn it on its side and cut off. Then I'm going to cut off that bottom score line, so we end up with it like that. So turn it round to the opposite side, and again I'm going to wedge in on the first one, so it's not the first score line, it's the second score line, but I've gone beyond it to do that wedge. But then I'm cutting down the score line so that that gives us the nice straight edge for our box. Then I'm going back to the tab and I'm wedging it. Okay, then I wedge the other side, so that's before the score line, look. So I'm wedging that, then I'm going to turn it on its side and wedge to the first score line only, so you end up with it looking like that. Again, I'm going to go in and wedge to the first score line, then cut down the score line to the second score line, then come back in and wedge. Then this time I'm wedging to the left of the score line. I turn it round, so there was the score line, look, and I wedge off before that score line. Then I'm going to come in and cut that, and then these 2 end bits, I don't want those on, so I'm just cutting those off. Okay, and let's just get rid of those. Then now I'm going to go in with my bone folder and give these a really nice crease. Okay, again, I'm not going to bother with the tabs, so I just do those there, those 2 on there, come round to the other side, go all the way down score line, and the second score line, turn it around, just do a little bit, well then, and there, we've done it all. Right, so I'm going to put glue again on the tab, so put glue on the tab, put that on there, bring that in so that we've got a nice square corner like that, put glue on this tab, and again turn it in and bring that so that it's level with the edge. Okay, and I think I've got a bit too much glue on. I've just filled my glue bottle up, and of course it's coming out faster than normal, so we're going to do the same. I'm going to do both tabs at the same time this time. There we go. I'm going to bring them both in and pop that on top, and then just go back. Make sure you've got a nice square edge there and the square edge there. Okay, looking good. Keep them round. Okay, we're now going to bring some glue onto the end one. I just like doing this with boxes because I just feel that it gives it a better finish. I like all my boxes, I tend to often do this. I'll do that and bring in the next one and make sure I've got that in the right place. And I've got glue on my fingers, just a bit. And let's just make sure I've got that right. Yep, and go over, then fold it. Okay, sure they're down. Then we're going to run glue all the way down these tabs now and bring them in. Again, go down with my bone folder till they catching. Hold there for a second or two. Okay. And then in this last one. Could have done with my pegs really. Okay, right, so just a test of time, does that go on top all right? I think once we have everything together, that looks as though it will. It does misbehave at first, but it is a very tight fit. I plan for a tight fit because I want the box lid obviously to hold on. So, but as you keep taking it on and off, it just gets better. Okay, so I'll stretch that later, I think. Yeah, and then it goes in there. I'm going to just tuck it in that little bit. That's about where it fits there, so it'll fit on like that. Okay, so it goes like that. That might be a little bit too far down actually, but we'll sort that out later anyway when we've done. So that's working for now. Right, okay, put that to one side. So we're coming back now to our insert. Now, I better tell you which one down it is. So I have, to start with, I've cut out a 1.5 inch gold circle. So did I bring those over or not? Yes, I did. There we go. So I've cut out 3, okay, and I'm using the Stylish Shapes, and it is the second one up. I was just wanting to check. Second one up. Come on. Don't want to lose my dies all over the place. Just put those out of my way. So I'm using the second up die, and all I'm going to do is place it on and try my best to get it in the middle. Okay, then I'm just going to run this through the die cutting machine. So where's the plate? Underneath. Okay, so run it. Oh. There we go. Okay, so I've run it, and so I've got a narrow border to go round. Okay, now what I'm going to do with this is the H now. It just fits the H on, so I thought I'm not going to particularly use these for anything, so I thought kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So put your H on there. These are the playful alphabet dies, so I'm just going to run that through. Okay, not even got it in the middle, doesn't matter. So that's my H. So you might be able to get little things out of them. I sometimes have got a little butterfly that was on an old stamp set a long time ago. So I often save little pieces like that because it come in handy. Right, there. Okay, so we just got 3 to do. So bear with me. I've punched them out but not managed to do this part. So we're just going to run that through, and so we just got the next one. Then we're going to put the H. What have I done with the die? Come on, get a grip. Where's the die gone? Oh, do you know, it's been one of them days today. Oh, it's there. I put it where I could find it and then I forget. So there we go. So running that. I really struggled working out the sizes because, of course, these are my measurements. They're nobody else's. I've done these. I've had to work it out because as I saw the idea, as I say, there were Sally Stamper and what was the Little Miss K that has done the Ho Ho Ho. I think they've done it slightly different, but as I say, the box, the way I'm doing it, the end result is different. Okay, there we go. So I've got 3 of those. I just need one more H. I'll just put that through, get my H. Okay, there we go. There. Okay, so I've got my 3 H's. Right, now I'll put that back on there. I'm getting hot now. Right. So how I work it out is I've got my ruler and roughly it is 18 centimetres. I've gone to centimetres because it makes it easier and my thing's in the way, so I'll do it upside down. So there's 18 centimetres, and roughly what I'm doing is trying to eyeball this and put my my circle and my H within a 6 centimetre gap. So I try and get that roughly in the middle, and I'm happy roughly with that. So I'm going to place this on top, and then all I'm going to do is just use my pencil and put a circle round. Okay, so I'm going to move those out of the way. So roughly that looks in the middle. I'm going to go back and put the die over so that I look at my die and I'm thinking that that's about central now. Now, your mini is not big enough. I'm just going to have to move these to one side. I'm going to put them on here to bring the machine in. Okay, and get rid of my H's. So, come on. Now, so you need your big die cutting machine. I have a Sizzix Big Shot. It's a fold away. Love this machine. Had it many years now. It folds up just like the Stampin' Up one does. So they brought that out later, else I might have had that. Right, so I'm getting my plates now. Look at the state of my plates. My plates are bad, which means this is going to mark. And this is why I did the next stage of my design, because my plates are bad. So I'm going to put these 2 on, and then I'm just going to run it through, and I'm just going to go over that and run it back. Okay, so here's that out of the way and take that out of the way. So I've got number 1 done. Now it has gone a bit high than what I thought it was going to go, but we now need to make sure that we get the other one high as well. Right, so leave that just a second. So what I tend to do is keep placing them back. So I never know which way to do these. So I'm going to do that about there. I'm going to again bring in, I have to do it upside down, don't I? Because it won't fit on with my lamp there. So I'm putting my 18. So I'm going to bring in another H now. And bring in another O. And then I'm going to bring in another H. And another O. Now this helps you to see that, you see, is too far over there, so I need to bring it back in a bit. So I'm going to bring in the H a bit more there and pull this in a bit more. So that first one, I should have taken it over a bit further that way. I was too generous, so there won't be as much of a gap this time. I thought I'd done it within my 12. The die must have moved when I stuck it in, so I've got to be careful now. So I'll have to get quite close there to pull this in here. Let's see how much we can do. So I'm just eyeballing it, that's all I'm doing. So that seems to be a bit higher. So I need to make sure that I get these as level as I possibly can. So gonna see if and move that over. Yeah, I think that'll be about right. So I'm going to do that. Bring in my die again. Sit it in there. Sit it over. And get that roughly there. And I think I'll try and do that as well. Let's put that back there roughly. It's going up there. My light's shining and reflecting, so I'm struggling. In fact, I'm going to cut it out. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cut it out so I can see better, and do not try and rush ahead. Try and get this in the right place. So I'm going to again look for where my thing is, and I'm going to stick something to just stick it down. Hopefully it will not move this time. So again, I'm just going to take that through. Hopefully did my first one a bit better, so off camera than on camera, but I'm doing a few of these, so hopefully it'll be absolutely perfect by the time I finish. Right, let's move that. Okay, pull that off. It's a bit red liner tape, don't advise you using that, but it holds it in place as long as you don't stick it to your bit. So again, I'm going to put my 2 gold on so I can see how things are looking. Put my H's back on. And I'll show you how I stick, when I stick the H's on, what I do with that as well. So we'll put this up here, and that I'm going to have to put over far to this side as we can, and the H will down here. I'll have going on about there. Yeah, so that will be fine. Okay, that looks roughly right. let's just put that in position again. So trying to eyeball. In fact, why don't I think about that before? Keep that straight. I think that's about right. So again, I'm just gonna go round, take that off, move that out of the way, line up my die again. Okay, and then stick that down. There we go, and then we'll pop that back through. Okay, right, so let's pull that gently off. There we go. Right, I don't know whether you can see how bad it is. I'm not going to worry about you not seeing that. I'm just going to get on and show you what I do now. Right, so I'm going to bring in my embossing folder. It's I wish they told you on it, actually. It would be so helpful if it told you on it. Now there's a pair of them, and it's called Wintry 3D. So you got this one and this lovely starry one. I love this. And so it goes in the mini, but of course we can't put it in the mini for this. So I'm just and it doesn't matter, I think I did it deboss anyway. So I'm going to do it debossing again. So I'm just putting that. I'm putting it in the middle because some of this side is going to show. So you want to balance it between the all of it. Okay, and then I'm just going to pop this in regular, and I'll show you why I'm saying regular at the moment, because I change it up in a minute. So the way you should put it in is you should put the fold towards going in. Okay, so it goes in fold first. However, now I've got half of it done, but I haven't got this last bit done. So what I do with this, oh, I can do that. Yeah, why didn't it work out this way before? I am going to just do it regular. I didn't do that last time. I actually put it on its side, but I'm going to do it this way because it's fitting and it's working out. I don't know why it didn't do that. I think I was not doing the sides, and this time I realized that the sides show, so I've done it in a different way this time. So decide on, well, you can't decide on which way you want it. It goes a certain way, of course. What am I talking about? Right, so now it doesn't matter for the circles, so I'm just going to glue the circles down straight away. So that's the very first thing I'm going to do. So if you've got a thinner edge, if you've done like me and overshot where you really wanted to be, because I really would have preferred it slightly more that way. I was just too generous at the beginning. I should have done it more. So if you've got a thin bit, in fact I'll stick the fat bit this time at that side. So I stuck the thinnest bit. If you've got a thinnest bit, you can't tell. Your eye doesn't go to it. If you haven't got them exact, it doesn't matter. Your eye really doesn't go to it. So I'm gonna go that way. Okay. There we go. Now I brought in my ruler, and we'll use the grid. So I'll pop that straight on there. and then we'll use a line on here, maybe. Let's have a look at that. So I'm using that internal line there to line up my ruler, and I'm just going to place my H to the tip of my ruler. I'm looking at that. I think I want it a bit further down, so I'm going to move this a little bit now, and I'm going to try and get this level with my grid. In fact, does it give you a better, narrower grid? No, it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't give you that, so I'll carry on with my theory. So this time I'm looking at inside here, and I'm trying to see if I can just get those about even. Looking at the baseline as well, and I'm going to pull that down there, making sure that that's even, and then I'll sit a H on there, sit it on my ruler, and do I feel that that is where I want it, or do I want it? No, I'm going to go a bit higher, so I'm going to mark it on there. So it's just a matter of playing around with it until you are happy. Once you are happy, yeah, I think I'm going to go for that. I'm not going to faff any longer. I'm going to then put glue on my ho-ho-ho. And I know now I can just sit it on the ruler, and that should be straight. Okay, and so come in with the next one. And then put that. So that it's straight. And then my third one, I've got a spare one. I'm going to grab my spare one because I can't see where that one's flirted to. I know I've got a spare one, so if you've got a spare one, just use it. That's it. And then going to bring that in there, there. Okay, so that should then have got those H's all right. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my base. I need to make sure I've, yeah, that's the one. So I'm bringing in my base. Now I'm going to put some glue in my base, and then I'm going to bring this in and just hold it to glue on here. Now why I'm doing this, A, because it's tight, and if you don't, then all of it comes out. Okay, so that's how I've done my original. I have glued it down so that when I pull off the tight lid, it doesn't come off with it. It stays in place. Okay, so again, we've got to be patient. So make sure, in fact, put your side bits in at the same time to make sure you've got it in the middle, because you might cut more off one side than the other. So I'm making sure that they are going in all right, and that is going to go in all right as well. Yeah, that's going in fine. So just going to keep pressing those. Right. Now, while we're waiting for that to dry, I bring back in the lid. And what I've done is there's a lovely, in fact, that's not It's this one here, isn't it? What's it called? Dress to Impress. I'll just reach over. Dress to Impress had these lovely dies that went with it. And I use them for all sorts. Got these nice little buttons on. It's got this straight piece. This was not quite long enough, and I decided not to have it shorter. So I just approximately measured how much that was, so I knew the button had fit in. And it is virtually 3/8. So I do it 3/8 of an inch. I'll just double check that. Yeah, 3/8 of an inch you want of black, and just thread it on. And I'm just going to put this level with one side, and then I'll move that in the middle. So just going to go up my, I'm not going to glue on there because I might move that along. So I'm going to get that roughly in the middle, and then move my bottle to where I think it is. Let that dry a minute or two. Just make sure you've got that straight. And then I've just got Merry Christmas. Well, I've got Christmas. What's happened to me? Oh, Mary's on the floor. Okay, and I thought I'd just put Merry at a slight angle. So I'm going to glue Merry on. Now, the Christmas that is with, is it peaceful something? I'm going to put it on a slant over here. I'm just going to have to tell you what it is. Wanted to say peaceful, yeah, I'm right, with Peaceful Season dies. There is a Christmas in here, and if you use the Christmas in here, it is larger. So what I suggest, you put the Christmas on roughly, and adjust your belt. So you'd probably put your belt a little bit higher. However, I got a very similar Christmas die, but it's smaller. So I thought, well, I'll use that. But you could so easily use that one. There is in the What You Say dies, this happy. So you could have Happy Christmas instead. So that's the way that you can do this, unless you've got a Merry Christmas. Another way is you could heat emboss. I did think about heat embossing. So I'm going to put this at a slant as well. There. And now this will be dry enough. I'll just go back and cut that level with the box lid. There we go. So that's the box lid. Right, go back to my Ferrero Rochers. Need to get 3. 1, 2. Right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the Ferrero Rochers all the wrong way. And I'm going to put a glue dot on each of my Ferrero Rochers in the middle if I can. So leave them that way. Oops, nearly stuck it on top. There. And then one there. Okay. Now, I've got to be very clever now. Right, what I do is tip it upside down. So I'll just bend it because I'm on camera. And of course you want it to say ho. So, not O. So what I do is put a Ferrero Rocher in, but I'm going to tip it upside down like that. So I think I'm right in doing that. My Ferrero Rocher should be. I'm just going to have a look, because what you really need to do is be able to, let's have a look. Is that right? Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm holding it up. Let me just hold it. I'm holding it up to see whether the Ferrero Rocher, the Ferrero Rocher is the right way. So I need to get off, and then put that one in. So I guessed it the right way round. Oopsie daisy. Right. Now, what I'm going to do is roughly tuck it over and try and get these in the right places now. Oh, that's the wrong way. What's I done? So I want to put it in there. In the right place. So it's easier when I can do it off camera because I tip it upside down, make sure the Ferrero Rocher is the right way, and then put it down. So that's more or less in the right place. Okay, so all your Ferrero Rochers spell Ferrero Rocher and are not upside down. Right, now I'm going to again put a little bit of glue on here, but I'm also going to go as centrally as I can. In fact, I'm going to rip that off. I'm going to put a glue dot at the bottom as well. So this hopefully is going to be tacky, hold it in place. So, and I'm aiming for the middle of my circle, my gold circle. So I'm aiming for that. And then the last one. Okay. And for the bottom. So you want it fairly close to the bottom. Don't go and do it too high. Okay. Now, this is really where you take your pick tool comes in. There's this nice little spatula, whatever you like to call it. So I took in the sides and tuck this in and push against it so it's not going, and slide this in and just pick up those glue dots, and that will hopefully hold it in place. So I'm gonna just give it a minute, keep going over this there. So hopefully that will hold it in place now. And then my lid goes on the top. As I say, you have to work it a little bit at first. There we go, it's gone on. And then you should be able to take your lid off. But as I say, you have to do a bit of working with that. But the more you work it on and off, you get where it comes off easier. Okay, so that's my Ferrero Rocher ho ho ho, and look at the lovely tops of them with the nice embossing on there. So thank you very much. I do appreciate that you've dropped by. Stay safe, stay well. Bye for now.